Ooh,
All right, this
I
is it.
see. This
Welcome
is it.
to
We
RnD,
had new.
Research and
Yeah.
Development, or
The
RnD
well,
for short.
Rins.
RnD for short. This is
Uh,
Relate and Debate with your host, Douglas Lepore, and
August Wolf, baby. I'm
uh,
alive, and
here we go again.
cholesterol's on its way down.
Yeah, you got to fight that cholesterol, so I hear.
You got to support.
All right, and the goal here is we're going to go over some conspiracy theories. We're going to random tangent on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, some news. We'll have a good conversation, but yeah, conspiracy focused, kinda.
Off and
You
on. If
know,
you have any
we
conspiracy
wanna.
theories that you want us to look into, leave them in the comments. August won't read them, but I'll check them out and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll see how much I read.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff about the whole Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk thing. That's a
Yeah.
wild group of rabbit holes.
Well, this is probably the softest conspiracy around that whole situation.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, you started off pretty light there.
Yeah, yeah, we could go darker, but everybody else talks about all that stuff. So,
That's true.
talk about one of the slightly lesser parts of it.
Yeah, and if I feel like for people who are in that much of the spotlight, probably want to keep your kids as far away from that as possible. So,
I'm not saying that that isn't the right thing to do. I'm just saying it's weird that if you're a mother of kids that young, that you're going to do this many public appearances consecutively. Like, it's not even like there's a lot of time in between.
yeah.
And how are you spending time with your children? How are you, like, I guess
How are you
that's why
being
you have family members, but like,
right, right. It depends on how that's going. And then there was also that weird thing about her, Erica Kirk being in a CIA documentary back in the
yeah,
day. That was
absolutely.
a pretty wild thing to
And I
see
mean,
come out.
she's in it. Like, it's not a deniable. It's not like you could say, "Oh, she's, that's not her or that's somebody." It's like, no, no, no,
That
no.
somebody
That's
looks and
definitely
sounds
her,
exactly like her, but it's not
and
her.
has her same, maiden name. Like, all right.
Yeah, no, there's some weirdness going on there. And then I think her parents have ties to government like
Yeah, the Department of
connections.
Defense and the NSA, I believe.
Yeah, so there's a lot of weirdness going on there. Definitely too many connections to just not question anything about it.
Well, and then you get lambasted for questioning anything. You must be evil. You're not considering the feelings of. I'm like, feelings? She's literally coming out in sparkly dresses with fireworks blasting everywhere, and like, who's considering feelings now? Like,
It's just weird. The behavior's weird, but
it's very strange. And people are allowed to be strange. I'm not saying
people
anything
can be
about that.
strange. You can be real strange.
But I feel like strange would be she just disappears and we don't hear from her. But that would be
I mean, even
logical.
that, yeah, even that would be believable. That would be like what I would
This
expect
is
from
like
somebody
strange
grieving.
and like what's going on? And why is it that every time this gets questioned, somehow you're evil and then anti-Semitic? Like
Well, I feel like that's with a lot of topics these days. I feel like the anti-Semitic thing and all the canceling of people for questioning things is it's pretty much, well, it's been the same way for a few years now. The cancel culture is
yeah.
like it's easy to put a label on somebody, call them a fascist, and just be done with the conversation. And that basically
But yeah,
makes
I
it
don't
so
have to listen to you. You're a
right,
fascist. You're a Nazi. I don't have to
right.
listen to you.
And if you can
Yeah.
say that, then you can just stop the conversation, so you don't have to think critically about anything.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know much about the whole Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk turning
I
point
mean, I've
madness. I mean,
watched too many videos and it all just kind of jumbles together because all of it's crazy. Like there's
yeah,
no linear path. It all is just it's everywhere and it's somehow I mean again, if half the conspiracies are even close to correct, he was living in the Truman Show.
yeah,
Like
no, that I've heard
his
the
life was
theories of like,
entirely
yeah, everything
orchestrated.
was planned out type of thing. I've heard a
It
lot of those.
again, I and it would be awesome if none of that was true and this was just a lone nut and that would be great. But there are so many pieces of evidence that could have been exposed that wouldn't harm the trial and that you could be out and we could all know about and would make that believable. But the lying and the obfuscation that's
Yeah,
going on.
the scrambling of evidence and people not being allowed to talk about it and videos being
Dude,
taken down off of the internet. There's a lot of weirdness of like, well, what the hell's going on?
absolutely.
I kind of have a hope that it's all been covered up and it was a fake and that he had to fake his death to not
It
be
would be really
assassinated.
cool if that was true.
Well, that's the part that would make sense to me is like there's a hit out on him and he's important enough to where we
He
basically
gets
fake
ahead of
his
it.
yeah, we fake his death so that we can just get him out of the target zone so that
And
he can
that's where the kids are, is actually with him.
right. And so there's just
Yeah.
like a play to make it so that he's not in harm's way and his loved ones
Which
aren't in
is why they
danger.
wouldn't allow any of the medical teams on site to actually treat him,
Yeah,
because
there
then they would have gone, "Oh, he's fine."
right, right. So there's a number of things there to where the conspiracies adding up, there's still that potential to be a
I mean,
thing.
that's way more fun, but almost impossible.
Almost, I don't know. It's pretty easy to I mean, they covered up as much as they did so far, confusing everybody. So if that
Yeah,
were to happen, then it
dude,
seems
paving over the crime scene is the
that's a
wildest thing
wild
I've
one.
ever.
Yeah, I remember
Like,
hearing about that and being like,
God,
why would you do that?
like within days.
Yeah.
It's,
And then there was something in arguments about it having been planned to do that for a long time, and then it was
yeah.
uncovered that it was a very quick rush job.
Well, yeah, not only that, but you've got the head of the security team for them going, "Oh yeah, we started planning weeks out for this event, but then you go to the next event and they had no planning, no security plan whatsoever in place." And it's like, "So you were planning this Utah event for weeks and doing all this site maintenance and all these things to make sure it was safe. But the event the next day or 2 days later, no security plan in place?
Yeah.
That's logical."
Yeah, and then, in conspiracy theories, it's really hard because you do get people out there that are obsessed and crazy that are
Yeah.
making up their own stories and then putting out stuff that is just
Yeah.
total bullshit. So
Well,
it
but
becomes,
it's the thing I kind of appreciate about what Candace is doing. For as wild as some of her theories are, she's just using the internet to do that. She's like,
to
"Hey,
blast it. Hey,
here's what I see. Here's what I put together. Go find more and send it
Go
to me."
figure it out. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. If you had a big enough following, then you could at least get a lot of information. There'd be a lot of
Yeah.
crap in there, but you'd at least have a lot to sift through and a lot more
Yeah.
opportunity to get the real
I mean,
information.
you gotta pan a lot of dirt to find some gold.
Yeah, I mean some of the ones that most people would know of is the MK Ultra was one that was
Absolutely.
talked about for a long time and
I
totally
mean,
disregarded.
it's still talked about, and I mean, they've already the CIA is like admitted, like, it's MK Ultra was real. MK Monarch is also real, and like they did that testing
I'm
on
not
people.
familiar with the MK Monarch.
So it's essentially just uh kind of what the program became, and it's still happening now. Like, they are still programming people. It's
I
But
mean,
they got
just
better at it, and
like with prop.
they can program people subliminally now. It's not like a direct, we sit you in a room and flash a bunch of lights in your face and that programs you.
Mhm.
It's We're literally designing the things you see so that you believe a certain way and react in a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, propaganda is one of those tools that seems like you'd be able to do that effectively to a degree just because
Absolutely.
there's so many media connections that people can make through their devices every day.
Yeah.
And you put enough of that stuff out there and you could manipulate how people are feeling about it. I feel that way about the division that's in America over a lot of
Oh,
different
it's
topics.
absolutely manufactured.
You
Because I
know,
mean,
not
you have a real conversation with somebody from from the left and somebody from the right, and basically, as long as you don't get into politics, they're just normal people. Like they
Yeah,
have normal thoughts, they do normal things every day. There's no huge animosity. But the second politics is broached, it's they
there's a
just
trigger.
hate the other
Yeah.
person because they don't agree, and it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense to
depending on
me.
how extreme they are into it, because like
For
I
sure.
mean, I always love to say is I'm here for the ideas that help the most amount of people. I don't see a
Yeah.
lot of that on the left or the right. So like I don't have any real reason to get super hateful towards somebody because we're all fighting the same battle. We're all trying to figure out what the hell would be the best for everybody. It definitely doesn't help to be at each other's throats.
Well, and I mean the internet helps because it disseminates the information, but it also hurts because it disseminates so much wrong information, and then people just believe they read an article or often just a headline that they go, "Oh yeah, that's how I feel," and then they move on with their day, but they hold that in their head and go, "Well, that's true. I read it.
Yeah,
It's
and
true."
they'll use that as ammo against somebody that they hate, against somebody
Yeah.
that brings up something else. They'll be like, "Oh, well, obviously you don't have any feelings or you don't care because you don't think about this thing that I
And not
randomly
leaving any
heard."
room that that article or that opinion is wrong is what I don't understand.
Or even the
You know, I
potentially wrong. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that just hold it as it's 100% fact and there is
yeah.
no fighting against it.
I mean, honestly, you look at even history, we can't take as 100% fact
That
because
one
things
hits
have
me
been
hard
written
because
and rewritten and obfuscated. There's things that I remember learning that now I look them up and they're not what I remember learning. And for as much as I did enough drugs to skew my memory for sure, but they're like wildly different. And I don't understand how I'm that wrong. It's like almost Mandela effect, but with other things in history.
Yeah, and history's
Um,
that one's a kind of a sore spot for me because I really want to have an idea of where we
yeah,
came from and where we're going. I kind of wanted to build a roadmap for myself, and so I really dug in. And the more you dig into history and the more you find those biases in history or the just straight up lies,
yeah.
or just like the muddling with data. Doesn't even have to be completely wrong, but all this little muddling over time, there's not a lot I can go
It's
back to.
80% correct.
Happened. There's only
Yeah,
like there's specific events where you can know the event happened, but as far as reasons and what the compelling, what caused these things, you
right.
have both sides that are telling you opposite things are true.
Well, and nowadays, unless you have like the hard copy film video, y- can
Yeah.
you guarantee that's exactly what happened
Is
that's
that yeah,
recorded
doctored
there?
and that's the part that sucks with AI. With all the AI stuff that's coming out, there already is an ocean of this stuff out there, but it's
Yep.
just going to get more intense of like you'll see something on the news and then you'll see it 100 different ways with AI adaptations and everything will be slightly different. And you'll have no idea which one actually happened.
Or none of them actually happened.
And or it's a straight propaganda piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
No,
and I
we're
see the videos online of them talking about disasters that happen and have a bunch of people laying down in body bags and like one of them's moving and trying to get their tarp to go over their head. I don't remember what this video was, but it was essentially making it look like a staged event. And all you'd have to do is AI doctor a video of an actual horrible event and make
and
it
have
look
one
like
that
that.
wiggles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so
Yeah.
you're playing on people's emotions and they're yelling and arguing with each other. It's going to create a lot more division than needs to be there.
Oh yeah, I mean you see those all the time of like, the tsunami wave coming and just wiping a beach away, or a sinkhole just appearing, and most of them are obviously fake, but some of
Yeah.
them look very, very, very good,
And
and I'm like,
I've seen sinkholes
oh,
appear in cities in China back in the day
yeah,
before the whole
yeah,
AI craze. So I know that it's possible for some of the
yeah, it can
wildness
happen. Well, it
to be
happens in
real.
Florida, not as
That,
wild as some of the China ones, but
yeah, dude, some of the ones in China, it's just like a whole freaking block drops
well,
into the earth.
oh, and then it's covered over and fixed within like 3 days. It's crazy their pace. And
Yeah,
Japan's even gnarlier. Japan will literally like fix it in a matter of hours.
Yeah, Japan is extremely efficient on their infrastructure stuff. And
But speaking
I
of
always see,
China, I mean, we brought this
yeah,
up
yeah, we
before the
touched on that
podcast
on the phone
started, but
call.
yeah, I mean, conspiracy theory, kind of whatever you want to call it, but that China's population is like less than half of what it's reported to be. Reported at 1.41 billion, and the kind of logical evidence points at it being closer to like 400 million.
That would be wild.
Well, and I mean, again, you do the logic on it. In the 70s and 80s, they were reporting around 500 million, then 700 million, and then in the 2000s, it's like their reliable numbers were like around 800 million, and even at 800 million to get to 1.4 billion, you have
That
to
would still be a
reproduce.
lot. Yeah, that would still be
Oh,
for
that's a
every.
lot. And then you take into account COVID, and China hit COVID harder than anywhere.
Yeah.
And because they're so much of the population lives so close and tight knit. They're also a very old population, and COVID was hard on old people. Like, regardless of how you feel about the shots and everything else, COVID was harder on older people, especially if they're, immunocompromised or have lung issues, which living in China and breathing terrible air all the time.
Well, in the densely populated cities, yeah, which is a lot of the population is condensed into larger areas. But one of the big things is that you don't get a lot of information out of China. That's
Yeah, well, it's
that's one of
almost
the things.
impossible.
It's so repressed, and there's no
Yeah.
real way to get an idea of what's going on over there, which makes it easier to hide the amount of population that
Yeah.
you have, as well as you could also they could run a campaign for having more children, and they could be very successful at that as well. Maybe not in
Yes,
those
but that's
numbers.
still
Those numbers are still pretty ridiculous.
absolutely, even if you mandated that everybody have 5 children, that's still
Not
not
enough.
gonna end up in those numbers that quickly. Like, yeah, over 40 years, sure, you could double your
Then again,
population, but
they don't have the same laws as we do on cloning, so we can add a conspiracy onto this and say if they opened up a cloning
they're
facility
printing
and they're
humans.
printing humans at such an alarming rate that they can boost their population.
Yeah, yeah, it's actual Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, and they're cyborgs as well. You might as well add that bit in there for extra control.
Yeah, why not? Why not? They've at least got some embedded shock collars. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's the part I don't like about well, communism. Is really just the intensity for the total control aspect of there is no freedom, and the government can decide everything for you and will dictate everything that you feel,
Yeah,
think,
well,
act.
because again, communism on paper, beautiful. Yeah, we all
It
get
looks
along, we
great. We all
share the
share
wealth, and
everything, and then somebody decides where that goes.
but as soon as you put some guy or lady or whatever in power, ooh,
Yeah, and then
they're doing a way better job of actually mapping Antarctica's like land masses under the ice.
oh yeah, because there was that big chunk of ice that just broke off recently, and they found a bunch of life forms under it that have never been discovered
Yeah,
before. But our oceans are so undiscovered in comparison to the
I mean
rest.
we've researched like 5% of the ocean floor.
That's
It's
so wild.
wild.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's awesome for us because now there's more stuff to explore.
Well, yeah, except I don't want to go down there.
I'd go down there.
Oh, no, dude. I don't boats aren't my thing, man.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with the ocean. I keep drawing myself towards it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean I love living near the water. I agree with that. I just there's every time
just
I've been
out
out
in the
on
water.
open water, it's if I can't see land, there's like a thing in the back of my head that just goes, "Okay, we're going back towards that because I know where the land was there." I would have made a terrible Viking in that
Yeah,
respect.
no, that's not good Viking mentality. Then again, they might have felt the same way. There might have been a lot of
Yeah, and
Vikings that are
they
like,
had to do
I
it.
do really good
So
on land, so get me back to it.
yeah, or take me to another one so I can conquer that.
Yeah. But yeah, what
They did love a little pillage.
I mean, that was for the
Uh,
time.
I mean, well, yeah, and I mean they had like so many of their. It's funny you look at like all these horrible situations that went through most of Europe, but like the Norse people actually fared pretty well through all that. I mean, yes, they were separated, but like they were disgusting by today's mentality, but like their
Mhm.
methods for keeping themselves healthy were incredible.
Well, I
Like
mean, it's
the,
also in Sun Tzu's The Art of War. They do talk about scaring your opponents, like
yeah,
the fear of how intense you are. Some of the stories from the Vikings could be fake,
for sure.
or they could be ultra brutalizing in certain circumstances, so that when you hear stories about it, you don't want to fuck with them, or you go into a state
They
of
show
fear
up and
shock.
you just give up and they go, "Sweet, that made this easy.
Right, right. It's
We only
okay.
had to massacre one town."
Stories travel faster than the foot soldiers. So if you
Yeah.
did a good enough job at the basically propaganda, early time propaganda for the Vikings,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't have to do as much once you got there. You'd have people who would just like fucking roll over.
Well, not just that, but I mean they lived in some of the harshest conditions and survived for eons. And like one of their main things, that like communion was literally them passing a bowl around, spitting into it, and then passing that bowl back around and all of them drinking from it. Now granted, that meant if somebody got a deadly disease, you all died from it, but it also meant everyone was immunized to everything that came through there.
Yeah, no, that was early day vaccines.
Yeah,
Was just drinking the cup
disgusting,
of
but
spit. Yeah, no, that's pretty rough. Then
ugh,
again, that'll build you a strong immune system right there.
that will go out and eat some dirt.
Yeah, there was a group of people I was looking up since we were on the Vikings. There was a group of people that they wrote about in old stories that they were afraid of.
The fairies.
No, there was this group of people that they didn't have a name for them, I don't think, but they talked about going up north and sort of around. It'd be basically northern Russia, like
Okay.
far north Russia, and they have stories of going up there and having large amounts of them disappear, and writing about groups of people that basically they described as having magical powers. Like they would go
Hmm.
into the forest and these people would just be one with the land, and they'd appear and disappear,
Mm.
and just it's like it was the only people that they wrote about as not actually figuring out how to fight them, because it was
I
a
mean, it
different
sounds like, early Mongols and that had like, become
early
one with
winter,
that
yeah,
landscape.
winter Mongols, the most terrifying, the Viking version of Mongols over there.
I mean, well, because especially if they knew how to move through trees and like had, launchable weapons, like to a Viking mass, like that's terrifying.
Yeah, and I think the other thing was is they did not have the same tactics as
Yeah.
any of the other normal fighting groups
Well,
in
I
that
mean, you
area.
bring guerrilla warfare to like to a traditional like barbarian. What the
Right.
fuck is going
It
on?
was
Like,
described as they were extremely strategical with the way that they fought, and they never fought in an open area, just your
yeah,
army versus my army. It was always like
yeah,
pick you off, mess up where your food and shit is transporting through. It was just very shisty working
yeah.
around.
It's guerrilla warfare. Yeah,
I'm trying to find
gotta
their
love Robert
names
E.
here.
Lee.
The Bajarmians? I don't even know how to freaking say that.
King Age
Okay,
sagas.
it's
Yeah, I
BJARN.
got it. I got it.
Okay, the Bajarmans are considered an extinct or assimilated people.
Okay. Yeah.
They were likely Finnic speaking tribes in the White Sea region. I don't even know what the White Sea region is. Viking Age saga before the disappearance from records, likely assimilated into larger populations of Permians and Karelians. which both sound like spacefaring people.
Yeah.
Yeah, living in the Arctic North around the White Sea. Spoke
Okay, yeah.
Finnish.
So it's well, northern western Russia and Finland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were essentially, yeah, just like the guerrilla style people
Yeah,
back
which
then. Dude,
if
that's
and I see that with a lot of the any of the people that survived out in the coldest terrains, they typically develop a very freaking intense way of living that is harder to fuck with.
yeah, that's super interesting.
But yeah, very interesting, especially when everything that I hear about the Vikings is they weren't afraid of anybody, but apparently the writings were a very few spread out writings of people who had traveled up there and ran into these people and talk about them in a way that describes not really being able to fuck with them or deal with their ability to get around the land.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And those are the things I like to study. The lesser known of.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, back then, you have to just learn by doing, and you can't read anything about it. You can't, and so when you come across a people that fight completely different from you,
All you can do is write it down.
yeah, like, and hopefully manage to get it to somebody who can read it and learn from it.
Yeah, that was one that's a real bummer just from all the history that's out there. If you've ever heard of what the hell's the name of that book that's written in a language no one can read? It's
Yeah,
all
interesting.
the Voynich
Well, but if
manuscript.
no one can read it, how do you know there's no mistakes?
I mean, the mistakes like there's no evidence of a erase or a
Of
rewrite
fixing it.
of
Yeah,
a
okay.
fixing
Yeah,
of an error.
that is really interesting. Have you ever just, I
But
mean,
then
on
again, if it was totally made up, then I guess that you wouldn't have to have any errors to correct. You'd be
yeah,
like,
you
well,
could
I'm
just
fucking
write
making it
essentially
up. Yeah,
gibberish.
right.
Yeah. Call
Yes,
yourself Joseph
no
Smith.
definitive error correction. The system is due to the text's undeciphered nature. Okay, so they're saying it
Yeah.
right there that is another
Yeah.
reason for it.
I mean, on just on terms of, kind of books and things that are interesting. Have you ever heard of the book Gadsby? Not Gatsby, but Gadsby.
Mm-mm.
So it was written in, well, they think 1939. It's actually kind of a little difficult to tell exactly when he wrote it, but it is an entire novel, 50,000 words, written without the use of the letter E.
Why?
I guess the guy had something out against the letter E.
The
I
guy
think it
has
was
some beef.
written more as an experiment to basically like how much can I write without using this incredibly important letter. It's kind of fascinating. I was watching a thing on it last night, and apparently a guy in France wrote an even longer one, like 70,000 words in French without using the letter E, which is almost more impressive because the French love the letter E.
Yeah. That's he was the one of the first hipsters. He wanted to be
Yeah.
different. Yeah, the proto-Elamite or Elamite. The proto-Elamite is another one that I've researched before. It's the world's oldest undeciphered writing system used in ancient Iran. And that one that has come up before, as well as early cuneiform. That's Mesopotamian, but again, there is some of the cuneiform that's incomprehensible.
Hmm.
The cuneiform has been mostly cracked, but there's so much
Oh
that we still
yeah.
have to learn from cuneiform.
Well, I mean, yes, but think about, so like I'm just looking at that, and think about if you just took Mandarin, but nobody spoke it and nobody could ever read it. And then you just dropped Mandarin into a cave somewhere. Like, but, hey, we would feel the same about that. We'd be like, "What the fuck are these crazy
Yeah,
symbols?"
yeah, yeah. What the hell does this mean? And then, the whole process of figuring out, you need things like the Rosetta Stone. You need some sort of
Something needs to relate. Yeah, like
The
Because Mandarin
Rosetta,
Chinese is wild.
is potentially another language that was supposed to be on the Rosetta Stone that we don't have.
Hmm.
That would be another missing piece of intelligence. You know,
See,
it's
this is what I'm saying. History just keeps getting obfuscated and fuzzed up more and more.
so the conspiracy there for me is that we're fucking with time and we had to go back and erase some things because we were like,
Well,
oh,
that I mean that
we
makes
did
the
too
Mandela
much.
effect thing make so much more
Yeah,
sense.
but like we messed up. We either gave too much information to ourselves back in the past or it got out of control and one group of power started getting too strong.
And
And
so they had to come back and
and fucking
fix it.
burn the Library of Alexander.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh. Is it Alexandria or Alexander? I think it,
Alexandria, yeah.
yeah, Alexandria.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, you could compare it to Alexander the Great, but it's
Yeah,
not.
Alexander the Great. I heard he when he went around, he had a bunch of places named after him,
Yeah.
and then a lot of them were the same. So
Well,
there,
I mean, his entire story is insanely impressive. I don't even remember it as well as I should for as many times as I've read about it.
I
But
do know that they discovered some Roman cities in China, and I'd love to see some more history come out about that.
oh, that's
But again, because we get no information coming out of China or not very much, it says there isn't a confirmed Roman city in China, but it does show. Let's see, Roman soldiers defeated by Chinese texts mention strange soldiers fighting in a fish scale formation resembling a Roman formation. So, I mean, there's texts in China that talk about Roman style war tactics in their area.
yeah. A number of Roman prisoners of war were transferred to the eastern border of Partha. May have gone on to travel to, clash with, and perhaps settle in China. Yeah, that's interesting.
There is some ancient fortifications that were found, archaeological finds of a village that was thought to support the theory because of the way that it was built. So there's little bits of stuff here and there. Recent DNA studies and scholars analyzing genetic markers don't definitively point to a large Roman group. It says doesn't definitively point, but I feel like they're
But
missing out
yeah, it
on.
doesn't rule it out.
It doesn't rule it out that there is some mixing and migration.
Well, and see, this is the thing: is the South China Morning Post debunks the myth of Roman settlement in China. I say, all right, but are you actually debunking it, or are you debunking it because you don't want it to be true?
Yeah, because that's the other thing is all the different cultures. The farther back you go, I mean, still today, cultures are very stubborn, and even personally, people are stubborn and they want to say, "I did all of this for myself. Nobody
Yeah.
helped me," and it's
Well, and I mean, China's history is like it's longer than anyone else's like proper written history.
yeah.
And, but again, there's no way we're actually getting all of that, at least not properly translated to where you and I can
No,
understand it.
no,
And
and I
like,
don't I don't think we give them enough credit either because there's a lot of times where we talk about the guns that were transported around back in the day when guns were being discovered and then the
uh,
original fireworks that China came up with like fucking what 1,000 years before we had guns.
yeah, easily.
You don't think somebody put a firework in a barrel and shot somebody with it? Like
Yeah,
give me a
shot a
break.
rock out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give me a break. I just don't believe it. Humans, if I can say one thing, is humans definitely would take that information and then use it to kill somebody.
Well,
It's
I
a
mean, that's basically all the British Empire did was travel around the world, find the best, coolest shit, usually make it better, and then conquer more of the world with it.
yeah, yeah, upgrade it and then use it as either a trading for exploiting a certain area of a resource and then moving on to the next. It's really fucking sad. I wish there was some redeeming quality there. I mean, I get that we're all trying to survive, but the exploitative nature of all the people in previous
I mean, the
history.
redeeming nature of it is now most of us have indoor plumbing,
I
and
do like
you and I
indoor
can have
plumbing.
a nice curry whenever we feel like it.
I do like a nice curry. I'm a huge fan of turmeric.
Oh, dude, all day.
I actually put that shit in my coffee.
I don't do that one, but I take turmeric probably 4 days a week, just like turmeric pills, just
Yeah,
because I'll also eat it for dinner, and I'm like, I don't need to take it in the morning if I'm going to eat it at night.
right. Yeah, and then I just started doing dandelion root as well, and that's one
Uh,
that's it's supposed to be
well,
good for your
I mean,
heart.
I want to get on all the mushrooms, the lion's mane and the
Turkey
all that fun
tail,
stuff. Yeah,
reishi,
turkey tail. Yeah,
changa, cordyceps is one that I've just been taking recently.
yeah. The
That one's supposed to
cordyceps is
be
supposed to
good
be
for
good.
athletics and
Yeah,
exercise and that sort of
I
thing.
don't. That's all money and shit that I don't have right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a good
So like and
place to grow
subscribe,
it,
and
yeah,
you can
like and
make this my
subscribe.
job.
I mean, ultimately, I do have a dream to be able to make money remotely, help a bunch of people out. If you can help
I
me
mean,
afford that dream, then that's what I want to be able to do.
well,
Is
and
I
I
want
mean,
to,
again, we would legitimately, if asked, we would go and audit basically anybody.
yeah, I would audit anybody. If we could get a big enough following, I'll audit the government.
Well, we can try.
Hey,
We'll make a play.
if we had a yeah, if we had a big enough following, then that is something that could be like, okay, uh, over 50% of the population of the U.S. wants these people to
Wants
go
this to
audit.
happen.
Yeah, then we get shot, and that was a pretty nice
You gotta
podcast.
let
We had a
August
good
and
one.
Doug in.
Yeah,
They're
you
gonna be
gotta
at the
let
door
August and
at
Doug,
7 a.m.
and we're just sitting there outside Congress, like, what's up?
No,
You
no, no,
asked
no,
for
no.
this.
Not we won't be outside Congress because they don't need the auditing near as much as the Fed. We have to audit the Fed.
Yeah, you know what? I'd probably be in Congress first so that I can figure out how much the Fed is involved and then go audit the Fed. Because you
Dude,
really, it's all a mess. I know, I get it. We could start with taxes. Again, I could complain about taxes forever, but it's not going to solve anything. I'd like to go audit and figure out where the taxes are going to the degree
just
that I can.
just give me again, it doesn't even have to. I want it to be super detailed, but it doesn't have to be. Just start somewhere. Start by giving me some kind of list.
Yeah.
But they can't. They won't. Well, no, they actually can't because there's like no one person or even small group that could make a list actually knows where all the money goes.
So here's my okay, we got a conspiracy theory that I can break into. That a lot of this money that has disappeared is money that we're putting into projects that we're not allowed to talk about.
Oh, well, that's definitely
So
some of it.
no, but I mean all of it is we're like squirreling large amounts of money into these
Yeah,
projects that
funneling trillions into
that
things that we
we
can't talk about.
know we know as soon as it's as soon as it's time, basically there is such a cash break on the US population that everybody's going to be really well taken care of. No one will ever have to worry about anything anymore. Or if there was a travesty or a world war type of thing, we'll be like, oh, by the way, we've been saving this money for so long and developing these things that
Well, you
it's
saving money
eventually.
wouldn't make near as much sense as saving, gold or
Well,
platinum
no,
or
when I say saving money, I mean the intelligent way. Saving money to
yeah,
me would be making money work for you back
yeah.
when we stole it. So if we stole the money for these projects back in, let's say, 2001, and then
Oh
we
no,
invested it,
we didn't take any money then.
I mean
No,
the $2
no
trillion
money
dollars
then. No.
from the
Mm-mm.
Pentagon.
I don't know a word about Tower 7 or anything.
Yeah, so all that money that
The
disappears.
Pentagon was hit by a 737.
And then it goes and it gets invested into compounding interest as well as goes to all these projects. And then when
Yeah.
the time comes, it releases and we get all the information that we wanted. And the conspiracy theorists, they
Hmm.
get their, pat on the back is nice job, you figured it out, but it doesn't matter. We're all fucking wealthy. We got everything that we possibly need again. But
Yeah, I mean it's
this is
beautiful.
like pretend. Okay, and this is the reason that I have this theory. And again, I don't 100% agree with it, but I do a feeling about it because I know if the population is handed things, like if everything was going well, and let's say everything has continued to go well, and the government has actually always had your back, and you knew it, and voting, you felt like or no, your voting actually did what it was supposed to, and everything
Mm.
was going great. There's there's no struggle, and people in a situation
No
where everything,
comf.
yeah, but if in a situation where everything is given to you and everything's working out, I feel like maybe we would be our own worst enemy, and maybe our luxury would be destroying ourselves, and maybe we'd
Well,
all
I
be getting
mean,
dumber.
yeah, and that's I would argue that that is the case because you look at any time you give people things, they take it for granted. They
Piss it
don't care
away.
about it. They break it, they throw it away, they literally shit on it
So
because it
essentially,
was free.
the government is only fucking us over because they want to keep us on our toes and keep us to be an actual rising population of intelligent, critical thinking people. And if we didn't have all these crazy things going on, maybe we would be a mush of comfort bunnies. I don't know. Like maybe
Comfort
even though
bunny.
it's fucking terrible and I complain about taxes all the time and there's all these conspiracy theories and I don't feel like the government's run correctly and like all of these things make me work harder to try to figure out how to do it best for the future.
I
And
mean,
maybe
that's
that's the
that I
goal.
would call that fifth dimensional chess if that was the case.
Yeah, that's essentially they're fucking it up and making it seem like a disaster so that everybody is working hard to try to get things in a better direction. And then when the time comes, they'll be like, all right, we actually have been working in your best interest this whole time, and all of this
Okay, yeah,
money that we
you
saved
figured it out.
away,
You're all now motivated enough that we
you
can
have the
share in the
money, and now
spoils.
you actually value it because you worked your asses off for it. Although, freaking a huge percentage of us has died in all the craziness and psyop madness
Well,
that's
I,
out
I
there.
think that that is actually closer to what is really going on. Is they are wanting more, essentially death and destruction, so that the finite resources of the planet can be enjoyed by the select few.
Yeah, I mean that's the dark conspiracy is that there's just a manipulation and a division of all the people so that they all kill each other and meanwhile we can just pick up all the rubble afterwards and
Yeah,
rebuild
you
things.
sit back and puff your pipe and raise your feet on a golden pedestal and
So that's another conspiracy is the hero to come save the day. The government causes enough problems and then offers you a solution that ends up being you giving away more of your freedoms. That one freaks me out because it seems all too real.
yeah,
Is
you'll own nothing and be happy.
Well, the AI thing we talked about earlier in this conversation is the AI thing's going to make it so there's so little that you can trust over social media. So they'll want to roll out a digital ID so that they can map who's real people on the internet. But that's one step closer to just being able to know everything about everybody and to be able
Yeah.
to turn off people's access to the internet. If you
Well,
have
I
a
mean,
dissenting
there's
voice or
a
if you're talking about shit you shouldn't be talking about, they'll be like, "Oh, you're no
yeah.
longer allowed to have the internet."
Well, there's a genuine argument that that would actually fix a lot of the things that are wrong. Is like if we just didn't have our phones in our pocket and didn't scroll TikTok all day, being fed what is 95, 98% garbage.
98.9% garbage.
It's so much garbage. Like even the things we send back and forth, most of them are just ridiculous, shitty. Like some of them are
Silly,
great.
silly,
Some of them are
funny
great.
stuff. Yeah, I mean,
That
humor
that
is
kid that
necessary.
kid gardening on salvia is one of my favorite things I've ever seen. And I saw that a long time ago, but it made me so happy.
That was my first time seeing that video, and I was like, "This is so stupid." I had to send that to August.
Oh, it's perfect. Is perfect. Do you remember the video way I mean way back in the day the dude does salvia and then he like just leaps out a window?
No.
Oh, dude, no, there's videos of dudes on salvia that are some of the
Again,
funniest things on
that's
the
up there
internet.
with slapstick comedy for our
Yeah,
era. Is like
yeah.
it's stupid, it's silly, it's quick, and that's it. It's a short video that's just a guy going to
Well,
garden on
salvia's quick.
salvia,
What, 15 minutes if
and
you
then he's
really
just laying
blast
on the
off?
ground laughing. He's not even doing anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I tried to drive a car on salvia. It's one of
Oh,
the
that
dumbest
is
things I ever did.
don't do that. Don't do that.
It was horrible. I literally like I was driving and I smoked and then was like, "Oh, that was a bad idea." And just thankfully had enough coherence to like see a parking lot, pull into it, park the car, put it in park, and
Oh
then
my God.
boom. Like,
Man, I've been young and dumb before, but never that dumb.
again, I've done some wild things, man. Made some real sketchy
On
decisions.
that note, glad you made it, August. It's good to see you.
Hey, I'm glad to
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah. I did a lot of parkour back in the day, and
Yeah.
I'm really glad to be here as well.
Every once in a while, your backflip off the second story of that house will like come through my texts. Somebody will share that video, and I'm like, God, that was such a cool day.
Oh my gosh. Were you there?
No, I wasn't, but I heard about
Oh
it like
gosh.
immediately
Yeah,
afterwards.
no, that was all over the place. Back on MySpace.
Yeah, yeah. That the video is so terrible. Like you can't even tell unless you know you. You couldn't tell it was you.
Yeah, and the other shitty part is at this point, all the cameras are so fucking nice that when people watch that video and I show it to them, they're like, "That's AI." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" It's like it's
It's like
one of
no,
the
this is
few videos.
verifiably.
Yeah, one of the few
Yeah.
videos I actually have of me doing that stuff, and it's told to
Well,
be
that's like
fake.
all the old freaking sword, like boffer sword fights. We'd
Oh
record
man,
those, and like they all just look terrible.
yeah, I wish we had more video content of all that stuff.
Dude, there were some great fights back in the day.
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
no, I mean it's still foam, but I mean the first rendition of those foam weapons that I made were copper pipes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean, I did other ones with rebar cores.
oh, for fuck's sake.
The
Yeah,
best thing about it is like you could get such a good whip on them, and then if you connected properly, they would just bend, and you're like, all right, that's it.
that
I hit
one's
you hard
done.
enough. I won. Like,
Yeah, I stopped using the copper pipes because my buddy threw one at me, one of the dagger ones, and
oh,
the handles weren't wrapped at all. And
yeah.
I have a crescent moon right here on my
Oh
chin where the
yeah.
copper pipe
Oh
hit me right in the face. Lucky it didn't take out any teeth or an eye or
yeah.
so
See,
many other
I've
things
always
could happen
for
there.
being a giant dude most of my life, I've had weirdly cat-like reflexes because I've had some sketchy shit thrown at my head and I've dodged all of it.
Ugh.
The craziest one I ever did is do you know the swing set up at the top? It's like that newer little playground up by Copper Pond.
Yes, yes, I know which one
Yeah,
you're
and
talking
then
about.
they had those bowls that had four, and it swung like this,
Yes.
and they were like metal bowls. So I was standing on that, doing the swing, and I slipped out of it, and it shot up in the air, and I landed sitting down facing the bowl, and it's coming back at me, and I just literally like laid down as it quite literally touched my nose
Oh my
and I just
gosh.
and then I laid there for like 10 seconds as it came to a not a stop but it slowed
Yeah,
down
it started
and I
slowing
like
down.
just and I sat up and all my friends were just still silent like how did you that not hit you in the face? I'm
Yeah,
like
because if it
I don't
did that
know.
this direction up into the nose, that
uh
could be fatal shit.
or if I hadn't laid down it would have just straight into my teeth like I could have literally died because that thing weighed 30 pounds like
Ugh.
it
Uh,
was it was it would have been so bad and I was like I got to be done for today cuz that
yeah, and I gotta be
I've
grateful
come so
overall.
close so many times.
Yeah, it's so easy to die, you know? It's just you
Yeah.
gotta
Oh, dude.
and then when you're
What
young, on top of that,
one of our friends, do you remember Fish Out of Water?
fish out of water.
So you'd play it like on a, a playground set and like one person is either blindfolded or just has their eyes closed and then everybody else can run around. But if the blindfolded person yells fish out of water and you're touching the ground, then you're out.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
Okay, so
It
the
sounds
blindfolded
familiar.
person is just trying to, it's essentially blind tag on a playset.
Okay.
And dude, like we played that game all the time. And I mean, into our late teens and early 20s, we played this game. And dude, one day we're playing right by the library, that little set. And our buddy literally like we're making it miserable for him. We're throwing wood chips at him, and he can't get any of us. And like we're because we all would call each other out. If you were touching the ground, you'd get called out.
Yeah.
But we were all doing so good, like running across the top of the monkey bars, swinging around the side. We were having a ball. And then I literally run and I tap him in the back and I run up one of the slides and he turns to lunge at me and just hits the side of the slide, falls face first, and then the rail of the slide straight into the teeth. He
Ugh.
lost 4 teeth. They're still fake
Ugh.
to this day. Like I felt
Jeez.
so bad, but it was just like, dude, it was hilarious. Like I'm so sorry, but
Oh man.
yeah, those were the best. If I tried to play that game now, I'd pull so many muscles.
Well, you just got to get back in shape, man. You could be at your peak at 50 if you do it right.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I got 14 years, baby.
Ah, that's not
Actually,
bad.
I got 4 years. I'd rather peak at 40, but you know,
I mean, if the longer you could stretch the peak, the better. Ultimately, if
for
you could,
sure.
and if we're already doing good by surviving those younger years, I feel like that's your highest likelihood of dying. And then once you get to that point, it's all about putting in the effort. You got to exercise well. You got to watch what you're eating. You got to take
Yeah.
care of yourself.
No, my exercise output definitely needs to continue to increase because I'm not at a minimum right now, but I'm at a about 15% of what I should be.
All right, let's get it done.
All right,
Mm.
cheers. You're beautiful.
Otherwise, have a good one, everybody. You're
Great
perfect.
conversation. Talk to you soon.
All right.